What's going on? Earlier this month, if you had YouTube Premium, you could get a Google Stadia controller and a Chromecast for free. So I went ahead and ordered mine. Said it wasn't going to come until January, but to my surprise, it came yesterday. So I figured I'd do a little unboxing and first impressions, so let's get into it. Alright, first up is the unboxing. Here's the box. Here are the specs and what's included. Get into the shrink wrap. And my box looks like it was a little damaged, so hopefully everything's fine. It's a little stuck on here. And there's the controller. Feels pretty sturdy, very premium, I guess as to be expected from Google. The bottom's got a headphone jack, looks like a microphone on the back. Analog triggers. Let's see what else is in the box. The USB-C to USB-A cable. A charging brick. Guess this is just for the controller. It's probably just just the paperwork for the controller. And now you can see the Chromecast. It's got a little plastic cover on here. And I always hate when companies make their products glossy because it just scratches up, but it's got a little magnet here for the HDMI cable. And here's the charging brick for that. It's more plastic covering more shiny bits. Has the Ethernet port there, and pretty long cable. Not sure what to do with this, but might figure something out. Doesn't look like there's anything else in the box though. As I said before, it really feels premium, even compared to something like the PS4 controller. The sticks have a good amount of resistance to them, the D-pad is very clicky, and the buttons have good feedback to them as well. The bumpers are clicky, and the triggers have a very smooth pull to them. The controller that it compares to the most is probably the PS4, but that's just because of the similar layout, but it feels a little more sturdy, and the buttons don't feel the same at all. The D-pad and buttons feel completely different. On the PS4, they're more mushy, and Stadia has a much more tactile feel to them. Stadia's buttons are more comparable to the Xbox One controller. The thumbsticks between all of them are very comparable. They both have the similarly clicky D-pad, and the buttons are on the Stadia controller are actually even more clicky than they are on the Xbox controller. Compared to the Pro controller, they don't feel similar at all. The Pro controller's buttons are more mushy than anything. As for the triggers, they all feel very similar to me, but the bumpers are more like the Xbox One. Overall, it's a much better feeling controller than I thought it was going to be. It's probably going to be hit or miss on whether you like the clicky buttons or not, but for me, they're just fine. Connecting it is very easy. You just have to go into the controller settings and then input the same code that's on the screen. Initially, you do have to connect it to your Wi-Fi using the Stadia app, but after that, it's all seamless. So it worked a lot better than I was thinking it was going to, at least with a wired device. I didn't feel any input lag whatsoever. Maybe even felt a little better, and if not, the same as using the mouse and keyboard connected to my computer. In terms of input lag, I can see this being a pretty cool addition to my living room if I have the Chromecast wired, as I'll talk about wireless experience in a moment. This is Celeste, and it's a pretty difficult 2D platformer, and it definitely requires precise inputs to get through the levels, and I didn't have very many problems with it at all. I couldn't tell that it was even streaming the game, so I think the service is pretty good in the right conditions. Here I am using it on my Chromebook, and the experience was not quite as good as it was on my wired computer. It worked okay most of the time, and I really couldn't feel any input lag in my inputs, but there were dropped frames and the image quality would drop down often, and overall it just was not a good experience. So I would try to avoid using Stadia wirelessly, as I don't think it's really quite there yet. I do think the controller helped with the experience a little, because when I was using the Chromebook's keyboard, I did notice a little more input lag.
Can't find anything else.
That was my quick look at the free Stadia controller. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Let me know what you think of Stadia in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.